body.
But if it was that severe, wouldn't you already feel pain? Wouldn't you already have bruises on your face? I mean, you say that he punched you in the face, but where are the bruises?
Yeah, so that's something that has not, been publicly released, or he won't talk about. But over and over again in this process, we have handed him pictures that were taken between 20 and 30 minutes right after that video was taken, of the bruising starting to develop, of the scratching, and it has been time and time again verified through metadata. It was a matter of being in the correct lighting, the spacing to take the right thing. And another difference is, iPhone camera versus a Snapchat recording and things like that. So there is solid bulletproof evidence of those bruising marks, scratches, things that were provided to their team from day one.
So it was a very brutal attack in which you were very bruised, but we couldn't see the bruises because of the lighting. I want to move on here. So Trevor mentioned in his clip that you withheld evidence, more evidence, and later posted on Twitter after being asked if your lawyers were aware that you withheld evidence. He said, "It appears her lawyers had the evidence the entire time." Speaking specifically about the video of her laying in bed next to me with no marks on her face the morning after she claims I brutally attacked her, an email containing that video was sent to her attorney before the domestic violence restraining order hearing in 2021, and it was never turned over to us. Perhaps that's why he insisted on adding his name to the released parties section in the settlement agreement. There was also a 12-day span of texts between Lindsay and two of her closest friends immediately following the incident that were deleted. We asked for them in discovery for the restraining order hearing, and they were not turned over. Why did your lawyers withhold what seems to be very exculpatory evidence for Trevor?
You know what? That's something my lawyers would have to answer, and that's his issue with them. Like I said, there was an email. I provided absolutely everything I had. And a key fact about this that no one does know about is that that video was actually the first thing that I handed over to Pasadena police, and it's on body cam footage. So I did everything to hand over all of that stuff. It was my first time in a legal proceeding, and I did what I was told when I was told to do it.
Yeah, you mentioned that you went to the police. Why wasn't he arrested, do you think? Or, no charges were brought on him. Why do you think that is?
That only the Pasadena Police Department would know that. What I do know is that I handed over my phone and computer because I had nothing to hide, and I interviewed with them. I did everything they told me. We have a 28-minute pretext call that's recorded that's never been public. That really explains a lot. And what I do know is that Trevor refused to talk to the police, refused to give him their phones. So I'm not really one to speak on that. I just had to let it play out.
Yeah, I mean, if I was accused by a sexual partner who had given consent to have sex with, that I was now being accused of sexual assault, I probably wouldn't talk to the police at that time either. Why didn't you turn over the text with you and your closest friends? Is this 12-day span? Why didn't you turn those over?
They really focus on that a lot. And like I said, I did everything in my power. I sat up there and I testified and said, I don't have access to this on this backup. Can you please get them from Pasadena police? I would have given everything, like I said, from day one. And so I was really an advocate for getting all those texts because I knew that there was nothing in there that would,
And the police wouldn't release them to you?
I'm not sure. I was the one, like I said, who said in court, please get them from the Pasadena police because I do not have access to them.
But if the Pasadena police can give it to them, they could give it to you as well, no?
I don't know. I mean, I asked my lawyers. I don't know if Trevor's team had done that as well. I just did. I was so overwhelmed at that time, but I was more than willing to cooperate with absolutely everything.
So you said last night in your interview with fellow Blaze TV host Alex Stein that you said fully prepared to take this case to trial. But Trevor says that your attorneys approached him multiple times trying to settle after all of this incriminating evidence for you was released. Is he lying?
I actually have no idea how the settlement came about. Again, that would be, I don't think people really understand that I'm pretty far removed from the process of lawyer versus lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, surely you give your consent as to whether or not you want to settle.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And actually is a really big bummer that this case is not going to trial because all of the evidence that has not been public, including the other accusers and all of those things.
I don't want to talk about the other accusers because I'm here to focus on you. If they want to talk, I'd love to talk to them. But this is a separate issue here. You agreed to the settlement, but now you're saying it's a bummer it's not going to court. I don't understand how those two things jive.
I think that I really had to take into consideration my mental health. This litigation's never ending. And I think the bigger question, and Alex said it last night, if he really wanted, to clear his name or, press charges for fraud, which he did not do with me, he did with the other woman. I think the bigger question is, why did Trevor settle? And why doesn't he want to take this all the way? And it's because of the chance of cross-examination and all the evidence for my case.
I mean, I think that that's an assumption that you're making, right? I would say maybe Trevor wanted to settle because you're talking about your mental health. Couldn't it be that he was tired of going through it as well, especially if his case is to be made that he's being falsely accused of something he didn't do? You both consented to rough sex. You had a safe word, and you didn't use it. And you don't want your name to be tarnished for all this time, and you just want it to go away. I think that it's terrible that you would say he didn't want to settle because he didn't want all of this to come out when you yourself also settled. I don't think that that's a fair statement at all. So my last question, as part of the settlement, you disclosed that you received $300,000 from an insurance company. How did you con an insurance company into paying you any money? And does that money just go to your lawyers or does any of it go to you?
Yeah, I wish I could speak more into that, but I am prohibited from talking about that part. So I wish I could go more into detail, but I don't believe I would agree with you on the word con at all. So,
okay.
So I'll go into that more.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay, I don't like it when men are falsely accused of doing things and they have their livelihoods taken from them. And it's done by someone who is, speaking out of both sides of their mouth saying, well, I wish that this had gone to court because if it did, boy, let me tell you all the evidence that you could be seeing, but now you can't. And also then settled the case. I don't find that to be credible. I will leave you with this. I want you to learn your lesson on pursuing public figures, and I would ask that you stop sliding into my friend Alex Stein's DMs. Thank you very much, Lindsay.
I really respect you, and that's nice to end that way. I really do respect what you have to say, and I hope there's a day that you can see the real truth of the situation.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I have so much more to say on that, but we've got to go to a break. I wish I could see the truth in it, too.